linebackers, $37 million guaranteed in the draft, and one question that is splitting the entire DMV right now. What do the Commanders do with Frankie LUVU? Peters did not draft Sonny Styles at pick 7 to warm the bench. But in a minute, I am going to tell you exactly why trading LUVU right now could be the most expensive mistake of this offseason, and why that answer changes everything Jaden Daniels can do in 2026. That, plus the wide receiver problem that ESPN's John Keim is already calling out loud, and the 2026 schedule that has the DMV fan base absolutely furious. There is a window in this calendar that changes everything, and almost nobody is seeing it. We start with LUVU. All right, I need you all locked in right now, because this goes straight to the core of what Adam Peters is building out there in Ashburn. The Commanders came into this offseason with Frankie LUVU on the roster, a 2024 All-Pro, solid. Then they went out and signed Leo Chenal, a two-time Super Bowl champion, on a 3-year, $24.75 million deal. Now we've got two expensive linebackers. And then, with the number 7 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Peters goes and grabs Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. 4 years, $37.2 million, fully guaranteed. 3 inside linebackers, all expensive, all talented, all on the same team. Wait, what? Listen, I understand the front office logic. When you find real talent, you stack it. But the NFL is a cap space business with defined roles, and right now, the Commanders have what I'd call a luxury problem. Or a problem dressed up as a luxury, depending on how you're looking at it. Bleacher Report already tagged LUVU as the team's top trade asset this offseason, and that was 2 full months before Styles even got drafted. The logic holds. LUVU turns 30 in September. He's in the final year of his deal. His trade value is real right now, not in 6 months. But before anybody starts packing LUVU's bags, I need to give you all some context that a lot of people are sleeping on. LUVU did not fall off in 2025 because he lost his ability. He fell off because Joe Witt Jr. made one of the most inexplicable decisions in recent Commanders history and pulled him out of almost every single pass rush situation. In 2024, this man was an absolute monster. 99 tackles, 8 sacks, 14 QB hits, 12 tackles for loss, 7 pass deflections, and in 2025, 3 sacks. Because Witt decided to turn him into a static linebacker. And the result? Washington finished dead last in the entire NFL in total defense. Dead last, fam! So the real question is not whether LUVU lost his edge. The real question is, under new defensive coordinator Daronte Jones, is there a world where all 3 of these guys coexist? And that's where Sonny Styles becomes the most fascinating piece of this entire puzzle. Look, this kid is a phenomenon. He started college as a safety, 6'5", 239 pounds. At the combine, he ran the 40 in 4.46 seconds, and his vertical jump was 43.5 inches, the best of any inside linebacker in over 20 years. That is not a football player. That is an athletic anomaly with football IQ built in. And Chenal is no joke either. 2 Super Bowl rings, a run game destroyer with pass rush upside. If Daronte Jones is creative, if he truly understands what he has in that linebacker room, he could build the most intimidating 3-headed monster at the position in the entire NFC. But if there's no clear role definition, no system that justifies paying all 3, then yeah, trading LUVU for a day 3 pick or a depth receiver option makes real sense. The Commanders need those pieces too. Look, I could be wrong, but my gut as a fan says Daronte Jones comes in with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. And LUVU, if he's unleashed in the pass rush again, could be the second-level edge piece that makes that defense look completely different from week 1. The decision Peters makes here is going to define the identity of this defense for the next 3 years. I'm not exaggerating. And while Peters is untangling the linebacker situation, there's another fire that is not even close to being put out. The wide receiver room. John Keim from ESPN, one of the most plugged-in insiders this organization has ever had, went out and talked to multiple league sources, former coaches, former executives, and the consensus was unanimous. The Commanders need a legitimate number 2 wide receiver playing alongside Terry McLaurin. And this is not just DMV fans talking loud. This is the evaluation of people who have actually built rosters in this league. Look at what they have right now behind Scary Terry: Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, Traylon Burks, Diami Brown, and Antonio Williams, the third-round pick from the 2026 draft. All projects, all with upside, none of them with proven production as a number 2 receiver in the NFL. The hype around Antonio Williams is real, I'm not going to lie to y'all. But asking a third-round rookie to be your second receiver in year 1 is a recipe for either a miracle or a massive disappointment. And this team cannot afford to depend on miracles. And McLaurin, bro, Scary Terry is an absolute warrior. But in 2025, the injuries beat him up bad. If the season opens and he misses a few weeks and the guy behind him is not ready, Jaden Daniels loses a critical dimension of this offense. And that is not a situation Peters can allow to happen. The options are out there. Brandon Ayuk is still under contract with the San Francisco 49ers, but that relationship is clearly broken beyond repair. If Peters is patient enough and waits for his release, that could be a transformational signing for this offense. Stephon Diggs is a DMV native who wants to come home and is available right now, sitting on the open market. And yet, the Commanders have shown zero legitimate interest. Why? I genuinely do not know. And that confuses me as a fan. David Blau, the new offensive coordinator, is going to need real weapons to maximize everything Jaden Daniels is capable of doing. Because Jaden, with proper spacing and a real number 2 threat, is a nightmare for any defense in this league. Jaden without those weapons is voluntarily limiting yourself. And why would you ever do that? Peters has cap space available. The market has options. The only question is whether this front office acts before training camp opens, or whether they bet on someone inside the building making a breakout leap. One of those is a plan. The other one is hope. And hope is not a roster strategy. Okay, and as if the roster drama was not enough, the NFL dropped the official 2026 schedule, and Commanders fans in the DMV are not happy, not even a little bit. You open the year with 2 divisional road games, in Philly and in Dallas. Then you come home and host the Seattle Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions. A warm-up period does not exist for this team. Then week 4 is a trip across the pond to London to take on the Indianapolis Colts. And here is the part that has the fan base completely fired up. There is no bye week after the London game. None. Zero. The Commanders fly back across the Atlantic, jet lag and all, and they have to immediately get ready for a divisional game against the Giants in week 5, followed by a cross-country flight to San Francisco for Monday Night Football in week 6. Week 4, 5, 6, London, Giants, 49ers on Monday night. No rest, no cushion, nothing. And the bye week lands in week 7, which means after that break, Washington has to grind through 11 straight games to finish the season. 11 against the Vikings, Cowboys, Eagles, Rams, Bengals, Texans, and Jaguars. A gauntlet that does not forgive mistakes or banged up rosters. The timing of this bye week is almost cruel when you think about it. You arrive to week 7, exhausted from that brutal opening stretch. You finally get your rest, and then you have to survive a marathon with no safety net for the rest of the regular season. Look, the Commanders are built for this. Jaden Daniels, Laramie Tunsil, Sam Cosmi, Scary Terry. This is the foundation of a serious football team, but the NFL is not doing them any favors with this calendar. And Dan Quinn is going to have to be a master of load management and rotation depth to arrive at the playoff push with a healthy and fresh roster. Do I think they get there? Yeah, I do. But it is going to cost something. And that is exactly what makes every single week of this season matter twice as much. There it is, fam. The linebacker logjam that could be Peter's greatest strength or his biggest headache. The receiver room that needs a real answer before Jaden Daniels takes his first snap in week 1. And a 2026 schedule that is testing the depth and the intelligence of this entire coaching staff from the opening whistle. Y'all, the Commanders are not building something ordinary. Every decision Peters makes, every pick, every signing, every move points towards something big. But But big requires courage. Big requires not repeating the mistakes of the past. If LUVU gets traded, make sure it builds this team into something even better. If a number 2 receiver arrives, make sure he is the weapon Jaden Daniels deserves. And if the schedule is brutal, let it temper this team into steel before the January everybody in the DMV is waiting for. Raise hail! Drop your comment below and tell me what you would do with Frankie LUVU right now. And if you have not hit that like button yet, fam, it cost you nothing and it takes 2 seconds. We will see you in the next one. Raise hail!